Hello everyone, myself Kiran Rathod, and through this video tutorial I am going to start new subject of 7th semester B.Pharm, and that is Instrumental Methods of Analysis. This subject is included into B.Pharm 7th semester according to the syllabus approved by PCI, Pharmacy Council of India. Basically, analytical techniques are divided into two major classes. First class is classical methods, means non-instrumental methods, and second class is instrumental methods. In classical methods, to perform analysis, there is no need of any major instrument, while in second class instrumental analysis is performed with the help of instruments. In non-instrumental analytical procedures or classical methods, titrimetric analysis or titrations and gravimetric analysis or gravimetry is included. While in instrumental analytical methods, spectroscopy and chromatography are the main methods because they are performed with the help of major instruments like spectrophotometer and chromatograph, right? And in this particular subject of 7th semester B.Pharm, various spectroscopy techniques and chromatographic techniques are included, and each technique we will see in detail further. And because first we will see spectroscopic techniques, in particularly today's video tutorial we will see introduction about this subject, instrumental methods of analysis and spectroscopy. This subject, instrumental methods of analysis, is also known as IMA, means instrumental methods of analysis, and because we will first see spectroscopic techniques, in today's video tutorial we will see basic overview about IMA and spectroscopy. So let's start with the introduction to IMA. As the name suggests, any analytical methods which is performed with the help of instruments are included into instrumental analysis, right? But to define instrumental analysis is a difficult task because it is a very wide area. But what is common in all the instrumental analytical procedures, so its concept is common. What happens in instrumental analytical procedures is common. And what happens? First of all, initially a signal is produced which reflects chemical or physical property of a chemical system. Chemical system means sample or can say analyte. Analyte or sample means the chemical compound of which analysis we want to perform is known as analyte or sample or chemical system. First of all, a signal is produced which gives information about either chemical properties or physical properties about the sample. Then this signal can be used either directly or it is transformed into another form, and then after this transformation the signal is amplified. Amplified means its sensitivity is enhanced, and then the result is read on some reading device, right? So this is the basic steps, basic concept of instrumental analysis. First a signal is produced, then the signal, and this signal gives information about either chemical property or a physical property of the sample. Then this signal is transformed into either one or another form. Then after transformation it is amplified, and then it is read on reading device, right? Now the properties of the initial system, means chemical system or can say sample, is then induced from the final readout. Then from the final readout we can get information about the properties of about initial system, means of chemical system, means sample or analyte. This correlation between final signal and initial system, if you want to understand, so first we have to understand about the components of the instruments. After understanding the functions and principles of the components of that specific instrument with which we are performing our analytical procedure, right? then only we can correlate the final signal and our initial system, because what the final signal gives information about our initial system, or can say chemical system or sample, that we can understand only we have understanding of the components of the instruments. And to clear this thing, I have taken one example, and the example is of AAS, means atomic absorption spectroscopy. In this spectroscopy, the sample is used in gaseous form only. So first the sample is vaporized, and then through this vaporized sample a light is incident. Incident means light is passed. The initial light which is passed through the sample is known as incident light. Through this vaporized sample, the light is passed, and this vaporized sample absorbs light of specific wavelength according to the ions present in that sample. The sample absorbs light of specific wavelength, and this depends on the which ions are present in the sample, because each ion absorbs light of specific wavelength. If sodium ion is present, then it absorbs specific wavelength light. If potassium ion is present, then it will absorb another wavelength of light, right? And so through this wavelength we can get information about which ion is present in our sample. Means we can get information about quality of the sample, which ion is present in that sample. So this will be the qualitative analysis. And the degree of absorption means in how much amount of light is absorbed, means the degree of absorption gives information about the concentration of that specific ion. If more light is absorbed, then obviously the concentration is higher. If low light is absorbed, then the concentration is lower. Means the degree of absorption gives information about the concentration of that specific ion. Means this will be quantitative analysis, right? So this correlation means correlation between specific wavelength and ion and degree of absorption and concentration of that ion, right? So this correlation we can understand only if we have clear the components of atomic absorption spectrophotometer, right? So this is the simple thing. Here when vaporized sample absorbs light, the signal is produced, right? And of which wavelength light is absorbed gives the information about which ion is present in the sample, means qualitative analysis, and the degree of absorption gives information about concentration of that ion, means quantitative analysis, right? As simple as that. Means in the broadest sense, an instrument for chemical analysis does not generate any quantitative data, but instead it simply converts chemical information to a form that is more readily observable. Obviously, we cannot say by just visualizing that which ions are present in this sample and in how much amount. So, this chemical information is converted into more observable information through atomic absorption spectrometer, means instrumental analysis. Means instrumental analysis. In instrumental analysis, instrument does not generate any quantitative data, but it just converts chemical information to a easily observable information. Means through just visualizing a sample, we cannot say which ion is present in that sample and in how much amount, but by using an instrument named atomic absorption spectrometer, we can say that which ions are present in that sample and in how much amount. So the chemical information, means ions and their concentration, is converted into easily observable information through the instrument atomic absorption spectrometer. Thus, analytical instrument can be visualized as a communication device because it converts one type of information into another type of information. So we can say that analytical instrument is a communication device. An analytical instrument does the job in following 4 steps that we have discussed in very first slide. The first step is generation of signal. In the example we have taken, that of atomic absorption spectroscopy. In that example, the sample absorbs light of specific wavelength. This is the generation of a signal. Then the second step is transduction. Transduction means transformation of a signal from one form to another form. This is known as transformation or transduction, and this transduction is performed when the signal generated in the form is not observable by the instrument. So that signal is transformed from one form to another form. This is known as transduction, and transduction is done by transducers, and very popular transducers are photocells, thermocouples, PMT means photomultiplier tubes are the very popular transducers used in analytical instruments. Step 3 is, after transformation of signal, the signal is amplified. Amplification of transformed signal. Amplification means enhancement of sensitivity. After transformation, if the sensitivity of signal is low, that it cannot be read by our readout device, then its sensitivity is enhanced by the process of amplification. And the final and last step is step 4, presentation of the signal. In analysis, the signal is presented in the form of either spectra or chromatogram. In spectroscopy, the signal is resulted in the form of spectra, and in chromatography, the signal is resulted in the form of chromatogram, or can say angular or linear graph, right? So these are the main steps which are performed by any analytical instrument. First one is signal generation, then its transduction, then its amplification, and then its presentation. These are the basic concept of instrumental analysis. In any instrument used in analysis, these 4 basic steps are performed. And through these steps, the chemical information is converted into readily, means easily observable information. Signal means nothing but the information. Then, according to the destruction of the sample, instrumental methods of analysis are divided into 2 classes. First one is destructive methods, and second one is non-destructive methods. In destructive methods, the sample is destroyed, and in non-destructive methods, sample remains unchanged. Means, in destructive methods, we cannot get back our sample, while in non-destructive methods, sample remains unchanged. So after performing analytical procedure, we can get back our sample in unchanged form. So based on the sample destruction, IMA is divided into main 2 classes, destructive methods and non-destructive methods. Then very important task in the analytical procedure is the choice. The choice of an instrumental procedure for the determination of a specific element or compound really involves 2 choices. First choice is the instrument to be used, and the second choice is the chemical system. Many a times, the instrument is chosen based on the chemical system, means our sample, and while other times, the chemical system means our sample is chosen based on the instrument to be used. This is a correlated process. It is based on which type of information we want to get, which type of analysis we are going to perform, and based on that, which type of sample we are going to use, and based on that, the instruments are to be used. While if we want to perform spectroscopy, if that is fixed, then based on the spectrophotometer we use, our sample, solid form, liquid form, gaseous form, means our chemical system is chosen, right? So this is a correlated process, and success of analytical procedure depends highly on this choice. Now, errors. We all know where there is an instrument, there is an error, right? Means chances of errors are there when we work with any instrument. So errors may arise in instrumental analysis also. Error can be at any steps. We have seen basic 4 steps of instrumental analysis: signal generation, transduction, amplification and presentation. Error can be arising any step from the initial decision to perform which type of analysis to the final report. Error can be arise at any stage, and it is not possible to completely remove the error, but we can minimize the error by keeping in mind following points. First is the choice of chemical and instrumental system, and it should be standardized. We should choose our chemical and instruments wisely, and that chemicals and instruments must be standardized. The second one is instruments must be calibrated. Calibration is the procedure which cross-check the functions of instruments. Before using any instrument, every time we have to follow calibration procedure in analytical procedures. And if our instrument passes the calibration parameters, then only the instrument is okay to work with it, right? So every time before using an analytical instrument, it must be calibrated. With every instrument, calibration procedure is given, and we have to follow that calibration procedure. If the results are within the limit, then it is okay, and if not, we should not work with that instrument. The sample must be dissolved completely, and interferences must be removed, neutralized or corrected in the calculations. In most of cases, in analytical procedures, sample is used in liquid form, so sample must be dissolved completely, and if there is any interferences, they should be removed or neutralized or corrected in the calculations. When we do calculations, then concentration or dilution steps may be necessary to bring the sample within the range of instrument. When the sample is not in the range of our instrument, if the range is high, then the sample must be diluted, and if the sample is in very dilute amount, then the standard addition procedure must be performed. Ultimately, sample should be within the range of our instrument. Sample should be modified to bring it in the range of the instrument. And finally, the result must be calculated and their validity must be determined. Means validation parameter must be passed after performing the procedure. So, by these points, we can minimize the error by wisely choice, then standardization, then calibration of the instrument, then sample dissolution, removal of interferences, then dilution or concentrated sample, then calculation and validation. These are the points through which we can minimize the errors in instrumental analysis. Now, classification of instrumental methods. Based on which type of physical property is measured through the method. First property is absorption of radiation, means absorption of radiation is measured in spectrophotometry like X-ray absorption, UV absorption, visible absorption and IR spectrophotometry. Colorimetry, then AAS means atomic absorption spectroscopy, NMR means nuclear magnetic resonance, and ESR means electron spin resonance. Then emission of radiation is measured in emission spectroscopy like X-ray emission spectroscopy, UV emission and visible emission, and flame photometry, fluorescence, X-ray fluorescence, UV fluorescence, visible fluorescence spectroscopy and radiochemical methods. Then scattering of radiation is measured in turbidimetry, nephelometry, Raman spectroscopy. Then refraction of radiation is measured in refractometry and interferometry. Here refraction is there, not reflection. Refraction means change in angles. Then diffraction of radiation is measured in X-ray diffraction and electron diffraction methods. Rotation of radiation is measured in polarimetry. ORD means optical rotary dispersion and CD means circular dichroism. Continuing, electrical potential is measured in potentiometry. Electrical conductance is measured in conductometry or conductivity. Electrical current is measured in polarography and amperometric titration. Quantity of electricity is measured in coulometry. Mass to charge ratio is measured in mass spectrometry, and thermal properties are measured in thermal conductivity and enthalpy methods. These are the physical properties which are measured through various instrumental methods: absorption, emission, scattering, refraction, diffraction and rotation of radiation, then potential, conductance, current, electricity, mass to charge ratio and various thermal properties. Now, what is the main applications of these instrumental methods of analysis? First one is molecular analysis and second one is elemental analysis. Means molecular analysis gives information about the molecules present in the sample and elemental analysis gives information about the elements present in the sample. For molecular analysis, UV absorption, X-ray absorption, then IR spectroscopy, all of these spectroscopies are used, while for elemental analysis, X-ray diffraction is used, various diffraction methods are used for elemental analysis. So this was all about the instrumental methods of analysis. Subject overview. We have seen what is the IMA, then its how it works, its concept, it has main 4 steps, then its classification and its application. Now first we are going to see various spectroscopic techniques. So first we will see introduction about spectroscopy. The word spectroscopy is comprised of 2 words which are spectrum and scopion. The word spectroscopy is made up of a mixture of 2 words, spectrum and scopion. The word spectrum was first given by the scientist Newton, and this word spectrum means arrangement pattern. Band of different colors formed due to difference in wavelength is known as spectrum. The word spectrum clearly means arrangement pattern, but here in the analysis it means band of different colors which is formed due to the differences in wavelength is known as spectrum. Now the word scopion means examination or evaluation. Evaluation of spectrum. This evaluation may be either quantitative or qualitative. We have seen in the example of atomic absorption spectroscopy, qualitative analysis and quantitative analysis, right? So scopion means examination or evaluation, and here in spectroscopy we perform the evaluation of spectrum. Means spectrum means arrangement pattern and scopion means evaluation or examination. So the spectroscopy is an examination of or evaluation of spectrum, means spectroscopy, evaluation of spectrum. It is a branch of science dealing with the study of interaction of EMR with matter. EMR means electromagnetic radiation and matter means our analyte, our sample, right? Interaction between EMR and matter is known as spectroscopy. In spectroscopy, interaction between EMR and matter occurs, and this interaction results in either absorption of energy or emission of energy by the matter in discrete amounts, which is called a quanta. Basically, In spectroscopy, we passes the specific type of EMR, electromagnetic radiation, through the matter, through our analyte, and our analyte either absorb or emitted the specific wavelength of that radiation based on its properties, and this absorption or emission is known as quanta, right? And the amount and the wavelength gives the qualitative information, and the degree of absorption or degree of emission gives quantitative information, as we have seen in the example of atomic absorption spectroscopy, right? So spectroscopy is used for qualitative and quantitative analysis. Specific wavelength gives qualitative information, and degree of absorption or degree of emission gives quantitative information. That's why spectroscopy is used for qualitative and quantitative analysis. Majorly, spectroscopy is of two types: absorption spectroscopy and emission spectroscopy. In absorption spectroscopy, our sample absorbs radiation, and in emission spectroscopy, our sample emits radiation. So in absorption spectroscopy, absorbed radiation is measured, and in emission spectroscopy, emitted radiation is measured. Spectroscopy is one of the most powerful tools available for the study of atomic and molecular structure, and is used in the analysis of a wide range of samples. As I said earlier, spectroscopy and chromatography is the two major instrumental techniques used for analysis. So spectroscopy is a very powerful tool for the study of atoms and molecules, atomic structures and molecular structure, and it can be used with a wide range of samples, and that's why only it is very widely used. Spectroscopic techniques are widely used. The study of spectroscopy can be categorized out under two heads. First one is atomic spectroscopy, and second one is molecular spectroscopy. Atomic spectroscopy gives information about atoms present in the sample, and molecular spectroscopy gives information about the molecules present in the sample. As the name suggests, atomic spectroscopy gives the information about the atoms present in the sample, and molecular spectroscopy gives the information about the molecules present in the sample. Spectroscopy based on the principle can be divided into two types. As I said, absorption spectroscopy and emitter spectroscopy, that is based on the principle involved in that technique, while it's based on its application, whether it gives information on atomic level or it gives information on molecular level, means based on its application, the spectroscopy is divided into these two types, which are atomic spectroscopy and molecular spectroscopy. So this is the basic introduction about spectroscopy. What happens in spectroscopy? The word spectroscopy is made up of two words, spectrum and scopion. Spectrum means arrangement pattern, or can say different band of different colors which is formed due to difference in wavelength, and scopion means examination or evaluation. Means spectroscopy means evaluation of the spectrum is known as spectroscopy. I am just revising, students. Spectroscopy means evaluation of spectrum, and it is a branch of science which deals with the interaction of EMR with matter. EMR means electromagnetic radiation, which has dual properties, wave properties and particle properties, that we will see in detail in next lecture. And this interaction results in either absorption of energy or emission of energy based on the type of spectroscopy, and the wavelength which is absorbed or emitted gives us qualitative information, and the degree of absorption or degree of emission gives us quantitative information, right? So spectroscopy can be used for both of the applications, quantitative and qualitative. It gives us both the applications, qualitative and quantitative. And spectroscopy can be used with wide range of samples. That's why only it is very widely used. It is a most powerful tool and it gives us both the information atomic and molecular. So it is divided into two types, atomic spectroscopy and molecular spectroscopy. In next lecture, we will see in detail about electromagnetic radiation, its properties, and about its introduction, what is AMR, its property, then electromagnetic spectrum. So this was the just basic overview about the subject, so you can clearly understand what you are going to study in this particular subject. And we are going to now start this spectroscopic techniques. So I have given you the introduction about this spectroscopy. I hope you can understand it, right? Thank you.